Doing a video today on a Mercury 7.5, just a little outboard. It's a nice working little rig. Motor sounds good. I just had the carburetor off. I got that all tuned up and started it up and run it. Tranny's good too, both forward and reverse, but I noticed that she wasn't spraying water. So these being liquid cooled, it's not good. You got to have water flow. So not sure if it's just a plugged screen, but it doesn't look like it. This looks pretty good, but for whatever reason, I got to put an impeller in her. So she comes apart here, I'm pretty sure, and then the bottom end will come off. This guy here is a 1/2 inch, and I'm going to go ahead and slip that off. And then this guy here is 9/16, the 2 bolts that hold the bottom end in there. So, whoop, I won't take up all your time. I'll just get that done. It looks like this is coming off of here too at the same time. So anyway, I'll be back when I got that off. I'm just finishing up with the 9/16 bolt here, and it come up against there, so you have to pull it down a little bit and get her loose. Here we are. She come down. Okay, loosen her off a little more. There we are. Is not to lose nuts and bolts and stuff. This guy here too has got something here, right here, to hold it in place. So as I pull this apart, this is going to stay with the bottom end. And as you can see, we're opening up already. There we go. A little bit of water coming out. And that shaft. Yeah. The guy was saying too that a person should keep the shifter, unfortunately, on the other side of this. They said to put it in neutral before you start doing this. So I've done that, and we're good. So what I'm going to do, set this fella here, and all of our business is in underneath it here. I'm just going to pull these 2 bolts out of here, and our impeller should be under here. This rubber washer, it just got to keep eyes open for washers and stuff like that. A bunch of crap in there. I don't know where that came from, but anyway. And I believe this is the important part, the shifter linkage. This is what we're after right here. So I'll get them out of there. They look to be about like 7/16. So I'll be back again when I get that loose. Okay, back at it. This, I'm thinking, is a water port. This is the exhaust of the pump. This is your pump here, and it blows the water up through here and connects over into this guy here and blows it up into the motor. I could be wrong, but he said that was an exhaust port. But I thought this was the exhaust. I'm pretty sure that is. I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't matter. This is coming off of here. And there's 2 washers, one here, one here. And this can only go on and off one way. So I'm gonna catch the washers, I think, before they take off on me. Put them rascals there. And this guy can come off. Yeah. This comes all the way off the end here. And there's a plate in there that I probably don't need to disrupt that plate. I'm thinking I'm just going to leave that right alone. Oh, okay. There it was. This guy, sorry about the angle, guys, on in the darkness. Jeez. This, I'm pretty sure was on there. because I don't think it came off the bottom side of that. And this guy can only go back like that. It does not go like that. I'm thinking it goes up in there like that. So that's the way it came off anyway. Now, I'm going to dig him out of there anyways, because I got a new one for it. So I'll be back when I got that. I'm not sure how easy or how tough it is, but I just used a little mini pair of pliers, and I give that a little pry like that, and out she came. Now, being very careful again, this guy moves real nice and easy, and I see it right down in there. It's land, sorry about the light, guys, but this right here is the keyway for it. So I'll put that right there on the safe area. Just drop that right there exactly as it goes. Yes. Oh. Now, down in here, right there, I can see is the keyway. Where this fella, right here, that fits right in there. So I'm going to turn that right up. As you can see it, I'm turning it. It's coming right up in. Oh, of course. Whatever you guys are using for a bench or a vise. I can't even see. Anyway, I can see it just barely in there, but nonetheless. There, if you turn that up this way, keep it up there. That little fella looks as though it goes in that way when you slide it down in there, and then in the impeller, I'll try to get it in the light there, is the small skinny sort of keyway. You can see it in there, the real small part, which is exactly on top of that. It's got to go that way. So I got my new impeller here from our local Merc dealer here in Ontario. It cost me about 35 bucks for that rascal, and there's the difference. Hard to say what happens. These guys do get kind of crushed over because, as you can see down in here, it's not centered. It's pushed over to one side, and that way it lets the water in, and then when it squeezes it, it shoves it out. I don't know. Whatever. They've offset that though, so when you look here, it's kind of hard to see, but anyway, there's more space on one side than on the other. Now, I'm going to get a hold of that little key before it takes off. There, we'll set him there. And I'll get that out of the bag and we'll get set up here and get going. Get this thing back together. Okay, now I can see that keyway, and I'm going to turn it just a shade back there. Yep. Now, I got some grease. It's going to take a smidge. I don't want to do it too much here. It might plug stuff up, but I think just enough to, whoop, there we are. Keep stuff somewhat in place until we get our impeller, which is here. Now, here's an important thing too on this guy. Oh, my glasses. Forgot to get them on. There we go. Now, all I'm saying is when this goes down here, somehow, if you're holding this and you don't have to hold the camera and everything, and you just spin that like that and push some pressure on it, you can see it wanting to go in place, just like that. Okay. Now, I'll just take a little bit of grease and I'll mark that one. And that's only just to remember, as you can see in there, the keyway is marked at that one. So the keyway being here, we'll sneak that guy right down there. We'll try to line that up as best we can. And then tough part is that we have to turn that a little bit in order to get it. We got to push them guys kind of sideways. They're tough to get in there. And I'm trying to do this and hold it and do my thing, putting it all together here. I don't know how to get that down in there other than that. But anyway, there's my mark, and my keyway is pretty much straight up here. So let me see if I can get that in place, and then we'll come back. Okay, believe it or not, it didn't take very much at all. And I spun that rascal in there. And as we see, in turning the shaft, she's turning the prop. Well, it was turning the prop. Yeah, there. Anyway, you can see how it goes. But, oh, I know why. This is the gear shift that was in neutral when I said I was doing this. So that's why it'll turn a little bit back and forth, but then it stops. Even if you keep going, you can kind of see it because it's in neutral. Anyway, but I tried to hold some resistance against the impeller with the pliers and then turn this shaft like this, and I know that everything's in place because this turns with this and it will not break free and it's not loose. So that's how you check and you're good to go. Anyway, everything else looks good down in there. And we can put the lid back on her. Oh, there's the other kitty. Yep, this guy here, he goes back down on here this way, because when I took this apart, this guy here was at the back. So anyway, we'll push that down, and then when we put her nuts on there, she'll tighten her down. And they're here, and there was 2 washers. Okay, oh, get out of my own light here. 1 washer, and the nut. These guys are lock nuts too. They have plastic in the end. I can see it right in there. And do this one too. Cinch them down on there. They weren't really that tight either, as I used this little guy here. Just my socket set. It's got a screwdriver handle, and then you put your ratchet in the end of her, like this. Set her to tighten. Snug them down a little bit. Oop. I gotta get one of them tripods. It's ridiculous. I'm trying to hold this and do this. I can't even, like a violin player, I can't even use my chin. Like that, Stacy. I hate stuff. Snug these up. And they weren't, like I say, they weren't super tight, so we're not gonna worry about torque specs and all that crap either. I think that's tight enough. Now they're tight. We'll check this shaft one more time. Oh, that tightened her up. That makes her hard to turn, but I'm pretty sure she'll be fine. But that makes sense because the lid's pushing down that way. Now, we daren't forget this bird. It's got to go on that shaft all the way down. It's got to sit right on top of there. And I'm not sure. It looks about the same both ways, so we'll put her on like that. Run her down there. Get her on there nice. And there where she should be. Now, I don't think it's supposed to press right down in there. I think we're good to go. Now, I'm going to set her back on the machine and see what happens here. Okay, back at her, guys. In order to get this little bolt in here, nut rather, on there, I just stuck my pliers in here and just wiggled around a little bit, and this here fit in nice. You have to do that before this one's got to tighten up before and get in place before you can even attack this one down here. But nonetheless, we're good to go. We got her. And then I would say go even each one, a little bit there, a little bit here, until you get her snugged in place. Now, what was a little tough was the actual drive shaft going up through here, way into here. I just had to get, I'm sorry, it's up into here. In order to get that to line up nice, I had to kind of do this guy here, a little bit of angle. So I brought it back to the back, angled a little bit like that, and as I seen it going up, I saw where that had to go. So I'll spill all my water out of the deal. Reverse. She'll lift up, so anyway, reverse works good.